peace be upon his soul. The greatest of prophets, Islam was his only goal. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. From among all the prophets, Muhammad was the last, as his was a mission of the greatest task. There was only moral degeneration. People clung to idol adoration for all nations.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We're still studying the biography of Umar, may Allah be pleased with him. And as I stated before, we would need a lifetime to talk about his biography and about his life and about some of his views and actions that were definitely and surely inspired to him by Allah the Almighty. Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, stood firmly against anything that would affect the people's belief in the oneness of Allah, the people's belief that it is Allah the Almighty who brings benefit to us and who protects us from harm. He stood firmly against anything that would tarnish monotheism and tawheed. And that is why it was reported, and this is in the authentic hadith, that he was once performing tawaf. He was circulating the Kaaba. And when he came to the black stone, Al-Hajar al-Aswad, he kissed it. And then he said, by Allah, I know that you are a black stone and you don't hold any benefit for me and you cannot prevent any harm from coming to me. And had I not seen the Prophet ﷺ kiss you, I would have not kissed you. What do we understand from this? First of all, Umar is not talking to the stone because he knows that the stone does not understand what he's saying and cannot reply to him. So what is he doing? Well, he is addressing the stone while actually he is addressing his companions. He is addressing the Muslims. That's why until today, we're still repeating his own words, repeating his own teachings. And he is telling us, listen, we're kissing the black stone not because of any other reason. We are doing this because our Prophet did this, ﷺ. And that is why his complete following of the Sunnah is a great example to us. We kiss the black stone if we can reach it. If not, we wipe over it. If not, and we have something, an object, an umbrella or whatever, and we can touch it with it. If not, then we simply say, Allahu Akbar. And we do not fight people to reach there because it's not part of the Sunnah. This is compliance with the Sunnah. We do this and we do not know why. That is why Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, was once performing tawaf with Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, may Allah be pleased with them. And Muawiyah was the ruler at the time of the Muslims. But while he was performing tawaf, he was wiping over all four corners of the Kaaba. Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, told him that this is not correct. You should not do this. Now, remember, Muawiyah, may Allah be pleased with him, was a brother-in-law of the Prophet ﷺ. His sister was Habibah bint Abi Sufyan, and she was the wife of the Prophet, the mother of the believers. Muawiyah, may Allah be pleased with him, was one of the scribes of the Prophet ﷺ. He used to write the Quran when it was revealed to the Prophet. The Prophet would dictate him and he would write it. Yet Muawiyah used to touch the four corners of the Kaaba, and Ibn Abbas told him, you should not do this. So Muawiyah looked at Ibn Abbas and told him, listen, I'm glorifying the house of Allah, and nothing from the house of Allah is abandoned. We wipe all four corners of it. Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, a scholar as he is, looked at Muawiyah and said, you're right, nothing from the house is being abandoned, and it's a sacred house. But I have seen the Prophet ﷺ only wiping over the black stone and over the Yemeni corner. And Allah tells us that there is a perfect example for you in the Prophet ﷺ. When Muawiyah heard this, he complied. He immediately refrained from touching the four corners and he followed the Sunnah. This is why they managed to conquer the whole world, because they followed the Quran and the Sunnah. And the minute the Muslims depart from this, then they will be defeated easily, even by the wind, without any armies. They will be defeated by the fear in their hearts. They'll be defeated by not cooperating with the others and being scattered all over the earth. Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, by addressing the black stone, he wanted everyone to know that it is only Allah that brings you benefit and prevents harm from coming in your way. So have your heart connected to Allah. Unfortunately, this is not what we do. The minute one of our children is sick, we rush to the doctor. Oh, doctor, cure my son. Oh, doctor, help me, because my son is sick. Give him something. Please save my son. Where is your heart looking? Where is your heart going to? Only to that physician, to that doctor. This is not a believer's heart. This is not the heart of a mu'min, of a believer that is filled with belief and reliance on Allah Azza wa Jal. A true believer, once a calamity strikes, once something that is similar to this happens to his loved ones, he supplicates to Allah. He makes ruqyah. He says the supplications, recites the Fatiha, takes the child, the loved one, to the doctor, and let the doctor give his opinion, but with the heart connected to Allah. If the child is cured and he's healthy again, this is Allah's grace, not the doctor. The doctor is simply means that would connect us to the cure, but he does not have the cure in his hands. It is not up to him. It is only up to Allah the Almighty. Umar Bin Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, once heard that some of his followers, his companions, his army, found a grave in the area of Asham or Iraq, somewhere. And they said that the people there say that this is the grave of the Prophet Daniel. And they saw a body in this cave lying down with a book on its bearer, on the chest of this dead man. And the body is preserved as if it's living. And we all know that the Prophet's bodies, after they die, do not change, are not exposed or decompose, or whatever they call it. They do not decay, they do not rot. This is from Allah. Only the messengers of Allah, the prophets of Allah, and some say even the martyrs, and there are evidence to back this up. But the prophets and messengers, this is for certain. They are preserved, the bodies are preserved as they are. So when they told him about this, what did Umar do? Now, if you know that this is the grave of a prophet, lots and lots of people would come and supplicate to Allah, pray to Allah, seek the blessing of Allah at first, and then pray to this prophet, ask this prophet to do things for them, and sacrifice for him. And this is shirk. So what did Umar do? Stay tuned, and inshallah, we will be right back.
From among all the prophets, Muhammad was the last.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What did Umar do? May Allah be pleased with him. When he was told that the grave of Prophet Daniel was found, what did he do? Anyone else would probably build a monument, make it a tourist attraction, get money out of people visiting it and supplicating to Allah, like a lot of people do nowadays. Umar bin Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, instructed them to come at night and dig 12 or so different graves and bury him in one of them, and then cover all these graves. So people, when they come in the morning, they don't know which one it is of his. And after a while, they would forget it. And this is exactly what happened. Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, was protecting at-Tawheed, was protecting monotheism. And he was not doing this simply because he wanted to do this. He was doing this to protect Islam. And unfortunately, nowadays, they call protecting Islam as extremism, and this is not. People are protecting Allah's religion by departing people from and keeping them apart and away from shirk. When Allah Azza wa Jal made Egypt a Muslim country, it was conquered by Amr ibn al-As, may Allah be pleased with him, and with the army accompanying him. And the people of Egypt, they've embraced Islam, some of them, and some of them remained as they were Coptics. So they came to Amr ibn al-As, telling him that it was their custom every lunar month that they choose a girl who is a virgin and young. They would dress her, beautify her, put her on a boat and send her in the river and throw her in that river, in the river of the Nile River. And why was that? They claimed that this is sort of sacrifice to the Nile so that it would not become dry, and it is the vein that feeds all of Egypt. Without it, Egypt would die. So Amr ibn al-As, may Allah be pleased with him, a companion of the Prophet ﷺ, told him that this is not allowed and this practice has to stop because it does not befit a Muslim to do such a thing. This is blasphemy. This is associating others with Allah. And subhanallah, the test was next door. Soon, drought hit and the levels of the Nile dropped, and the people started feeling the thirst and they were terrified. And they went to Amr ibn al-As. Listen, I know that this is Islam and so on, but look at the Nile. Look what's happening. Amr ibn al-As wrote to Umar and he told him that this is what I have done. I told them to stop it. I know that this is against the practice of Islam, but what should I do next? Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, received this letter from Amr ibn al-As, who was one of the most intelligent Arabs on the peninsula. And everyone knew how intelligent he was. But this was not to do with intelligence. This was to do with the Quran and Sunnah, with knowledge, proper knowledge, which Amr thought that I should consult those who are above me. So he wrote to Umar. What did Umar write? Did he feel the pressure? Did he feel responsible for the death of the people because of the drought, because of what he had prevented them from doing? Lots of people would make that choice and they would say, I was forced. What did you want me to do? The people are dying. They are calling for me to do something. I had to make a decision. Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, was the best decision maker when things were clear. And were not, if they were not clear, he would call the people of Badr, those who fought with the Prophet ﷺ, and he would consult them. But when it was clear to him, and most of the time things were clear to him, he would make the decision and get it over with. And this is exactly what he said. He wrote to Amr ibn al-As and said, Amr, take my letter and throw it in the Nile. But before you do this, read it to everyone. And this is what Amr ibn al-As did. What did the letter read? Well, he wrote, may Allah be pleased with him, from the Caliph of the believers, from the Amir of the believers, Umar ibn Khattab, to the great Nile. He's addressing the river. It says that if you are running by yourself, if you are the one who provides the water from yourself, we do not want your water anymore. Keep it as it is. But if you are running by the instructions of Allah and by the blessing and grace of Allah the Almighty, then we seek Allah's guidance and we seek Allah's support. And subhanallah, they threw this letter in the Nile, showing the people, he's not addressing the Nile again. He knows that it is not permissible to address the Nile, but he is showing the people how a true Muslim should behave in calamities. Have your dependence only on Allah. Have your tawakkul only on Allah the Almighty, and Allah will save you. Allah will protect you. But if you look with your heart to anyone else, who provides you with the money? Who provides you with the health? Who protects you from all diseases? It's Allah Azza wa Jal. But if you look for provisions from your manager and you kiss his, let's say, hands and feet, if not other parts of his body, just to give you a raise, just to give you an increment, thinking that his pleasure and his anger affects your livelihood, then this is associating others with Allah. To that extent, a Muslim has his heart only connected with Allah. He looks at no one else but Allah the Almighty. So Umar wanted to make this clear to the people of Egypt. And with the grace of Allah, the river levels rose and it rained and everything went back to normal. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. This shows you that when you are with Allah, Allah will not abandon you. Everything is in His hands. How dare you seek help from those who cannot provide it to you? It is only Allah who gives this to you. Umar ibn Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, also protected at-Tawheed by removing Khalid ibn al-Walid, who was called by the Prophet ﷺ to be the sword of Allah. He was the leader of the army that started sweeping Arabia, the Sham area, fighting the fire worshippers. He started sweeping all of these areas at the time of Abu Bakr. May Allah be pleased with him. And when Umar was the successor of Abu Bakr, he saw the victories that Allah Azza wa Jal had made and given to the Muslims through Khalid bin Walid, who was a fierce leader, a smart strategist. He was a soldier of Allah. When Umar looked at this and he saw how people were admiring Khalid, he immediately took him out of office. He immediately made him to retire and appointed Abu Ubaidah Amir ibn al-Jarrah in his place. Why would anyone do such a thing? If the ball is rolling, keep it rolling. If you are on the winning streak, stay there. Do it. He's a winning card. Why remove him from his post? Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, did not doubt Khalid bin Walid. He did not have any suspicions against Khalid bin Walid. On the contrary, he loved him and he looked up to him. But because the people were saying that all of these victories were because of Khalid bin Walid, this meant that the people are connected to this individual and not to Allah Azza wa Jal. And he went back to the battle of Uhud, which took place on the 3rd year of Hijrah, where the Muslims were almost defeated because of Khalid bin Walid. He was a pagan at the time, and the Prophet ﷺ instructed those on Mount Uhud, who were the archers, not to descend, not to come down until they get the direct instruction from the Prophet ﷺ to come down. So at the beginning, subhanallah, Allah granted victory to the Muslims. and the archers were killing all the pagans and the disbelievers, and they started to flee the battlefield. They started to run away. And the Muslims on the ground started to collect the booties and so on. Those who were on Mount Uhud, the archers, saw what was happening, and they decided to come down and to collect the bounties of war. Their leader told them, don't go down. The Prophet said, do not come down until I give you the instruction, the clear orders to come down. They said, the battle is over, and they went down, not knowing that Khalid bin Walid, may Allah be pleased with him, with a group of riders on horseback, came from behind the mountain and climbed the mountain and killed the archers that were there. The ones that were left, there were about a handful only instead of 50. And he started attacking the Muslims with his archers. And subhanallah, things turned around. And the Muslims were almost defeated. And the Prophet ﷺ was almost to be killed. He was attacked. He was bruised. He started bleeding. And lots of the Muslims died. 70 of the Muslims died in the Battle of Uhud. So people were connecting this, and they were saying, okay, victory was given to the pagans because of Khalid. Khalid managed to do the battle of so-and-so and the battle of so-and-so. He managed to fight the Romans. He managed to fight the Persians. Allah granted him victory. No one ever stood in his face. This means that it is Khalid who's winning the wars. And this is what Umar bin Khattab was trying to avoid. He was trying to avoid the people connecting the victories of Allah, the blessings of Allah to a person. It is not Umar, it is not Khalid, it is not any one of the companions. The religion of Allah is connected to Allah. Allah gives them victory and Allah deprives them from victory. If they are righteous, if they are following His instructions, Allah will give them victory. If they're sinful, if they dispute among each other, Allah the Almighty will give them defeat. So that is why He, in a sense, fired Khalid ibn al-Walid from his position and sent to Abu Ubaidah Amr ibn Jarrah to assume his position and to be the leader of the Muslim army. That was in the middle of the battlefield. And when Abu Ubaidah saw the letter from Umar, he kept it to himself. He did not want to interrupt the battle with the new instructions. And he left Khalid to finish that war and to be victorious. And then he showed him Umar's letter, and he accepted that with a pleasant and happy heart. And he agreed to be demoted and only to be a soldier in the army of Abu Ubaidah Amir ibn al-Jarrah. This all shows us how Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, protected Islam, how Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, protected monotheism and Tawheed. He did not do this for himself. He did not do this for anyone else. He did this for the sake of Allah. And may Allah be pleased with him. This is all the time we have for today's program. So until we meet next time, fi amanillah, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Muhammad, peace be upon his soul, the greatest